You know, something I really didn't talk about too much on Monday because I was just so disenchanted with the WWE product for yet another Monday Night Raw. And I want to kind of go back on it because initially it was something that I looked at as a complete waste of time and kind of embarrassing if you're Kurt Angle. But I could see why they did it, and I could see why Kurt Angle put himself in that position to do the honors for Drew McIntyre. Kurt Angle, in the main event of a Monday Night Raw in November of 2018, isn't really the most exciting thing in the world to me. In fact, after Crown Jewel, I'm done with seeing Kurt Angle in the ring, period. I don't want to see him in the ring in a situation like Wrestlemania. I don't have any interest in seeing a 50-year-old Kurt Angle with two broken knees, two banged up knees, a bad back, a bad neck. Not really what I'm watching the product for. And I don't want to see Kurt Angle in a one-on-one situation, no matter what type of dream match you think it's going to be. Because more than likely, you're not thinking in terms of the Kurt Angle of now. When you think of a dream match with anybody on the current roster, you're thinking of, wow, the name Kurt Angle in the spotlight versus a Finn Balor or a Seth Rollins, or in this case, a Drew McIntyre. Now, WWE had Drew McIntyre apply the ankle lock on Kurt Angle, which we all know is Kurt Angle's finishing move. And he tapped out to his own finishing move. I didn't really talk about this on Monday because of the entirety that was that 3-hour show, which was fucking horrendous, just like it is every Monday. But then you got fucking people on social media, oh my God, Raw wasn't that bad. It was fucking terrible. Anyway, he tapped out to the ankle lock, and I didn't look at it then, but I'm looking at it now. In the most honorable way, it was Kurt Angle pretty much passing the torch to Drew McIntyre. It was Drew McIntyre being positioned on WWE television, and it was WWE telling everybody, this is our guy. This is the guy we're going with in the foreseeable future. When Lesnar is not here anymore, and Reigns is not here anymore, and the thing with Ziggler right now, we always knew was temporary. But Drew McIntyre is the guy. I look at it a little bit differently. And even in the community, I still see some people like shitting on Drew McIntyre. I don't understand why. I mean, how can you not like Drew McIntyre? I mean, don't even concentrate on the athlete himself. Admire what the guy has done to get here again. He was fired from WWE after being coined the Chosen One by Vince McMahon himself, which everything always comes full circle, by the way. He was coined the Chosen One, then he was jobbed out in 3MB with fucking Jinder Mahal and Heath Slater, goes to the Indies after getting fired, reinvents himself, becomes a new man, is TNA's #1 guy, works on the Indies, builds a name and a resume for himself, and he became one of the most desirable independent talents in the world. And then he landed back in WWE and wanted to go directly to NXT. Another guy who wanted to go to NXT to kind of reaffiliate himself with the WWE product, maybe work with guys that he's not going to be able to work with, and just get his feet wet in the WWE product. And you know what? Let me see what this NXT buzz is all about. Maybe it's going to make me hungrier to be there. He went to NXT. He got injured, which probably was the best thing that ever happened to him. And now he's on Monday Night Raw. And he's about to become the #1 guy on Monday Night Raw. If you don't appreciate his path, being fired by the biggest wrestling promotion in the world, and then going on the Indies and just totally reinventing the wrestler that is Drew McIntyre. and then comes back and now is finding success on Monday Night Raw and probably going to be the #1 guy on this show. Man, that's a fucking great story. And a story in which I don't know how many people come to me, oh, McIntyre's not a champion. He doesn't look like a champion. This guy sucks. I don't know how you can't admire that. So Drew McIntyre, we know, is set for big things. But when? Huge possible plans for Drew McIntyre in 2019. Now, we talked about yesterday on Off the Script, Braun Strowman could potentially be his own worst enemy backstage on Monday Night Raw, showing up late, leaving early, just showing bad etiquette. Etiquette that is not taught in NXT. There's a different environment in NXT compared to what is on the main roster. Braun Strowman didn't spend a lot of time in NXT. He went right to the main roster because of his size. So there's a disconnect there, and WWE really isn't doing anything about it. If they actually fucking cared, someone would sit Braun Strowman down and say, listen, dude, you gotta start doing the right thing. Otherwise, you ain't gonna go far here. Vince is looking, Vince is hearing. If you want to get on his good side, please set yourself straight. I don't know why anybody hasn't spoken to him. If they know he's behaving badly and having bad habits, why isn't someone speaking up? And why isn't someone, not only his colleagues, someone who's above him, but why isn't management taking him to the side and be like, bro, listen, you got to start acting straight and narrow? I don't understand that. But with all this shit going on with Braun Strowman, on top of that, his bad knees. 2 blown out knees, says Dave Meltzer. So we talked about that on the podcast yesterday. If you guys missed that, link in the annotation. Great video. Go check it out. But with all that we talked about yesterday, McIntyre, and you think the promos that he cuts about the WWE roster not being hungry enough are just, he just threw that in there because it sounds cool. No, that's the way Drew McIntyre really fucking feels. And Drew McIntyre is going to be one of those guys where if you slip up, he is going to eat you alive. If you're here and you fuck up, McIntyre is going to jump right above you. That's the kind of guy Drew McIntyre is, and you can tell by his body language, his attitude, and what he brings to the table on Monday Night Raw. So, crown jewel. Strowman was jobbed out. I don't give a shit how you look at it. He was buried. Okay? It wasn't a underdog tale. It wasn't a come-from-behind Cinderella story. Nah, fuck that. Braun Strowman was buried. Braun Strowman's funeral happened in Saudi Arabia. He didn't win the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar won the Universal Championship. And right now it's going to be from here till WrestleMania all over again. All over again. And I don't know how anybody can look at this and think, well, after the Survivor Series, it's going to be good. No, after Survivor Series, it's going to be shit. We're not going to have a Universal Champion on Monday Night Raw. At least we get the match with AJ Styles in the interim. So, mix all this together with Roman Reigns being out. WWE's long-term booking for the Universal title will rumored will lead Braun Strowman to defeating Lesnar for the title. Maybe at the Royal Rumble, maybe at WrestleMania. We don't know. We don't know if Lesnar's going to be at the Royal Rumble. We don't know if Strowman's going to make it till WrestleMania with 2 blown-out knees, according to Dave Meltzer. Now, with his troubles backstage and his etiquette, like I mentioned, Drew McIntyre could eventually be the one to dethrone Brock Lesnar, according to WrestleVotes, who I take very seriously on social media, man. I think they're a great account to follow. They have the inside scoop on a lot of things, and they talk a lot of logic. They say, and I quote, WWE's been high on Drew McIntyre for months now. The big push is indeed starting. They have major plans for McIntyre in 2019. Now, they actually retweeted a tweet that they sent out. They retweeted themselves. This was months ago. Texting with the source. Heard that since his return to Monday Night, Vince has been very high on Drew McIntyre. Triple H also heavily involved with Drew. Pairing with Ziggler is for the time being, but can turn into something big down the line. So that is what they stated as of just a couple of months ago, and then following up, just this week on social media. Combine this with the report about Strowman's backstage behavior interfering with his push, as well as Reigns' absence, and it looks like as though McIntyre could be the next face of Raw. Not only could this mean that the Scottish Terminator, I like it, and then again, I don't like that name. I like when Graves says it, but when Michael Cole starts saying it, I don't deal with that shit. The Scottish Terminator will become a Universal Champion one day, but he could also be the one to dethrone Lesnar next year at the Royal Rumble. We don't know if Lesnar is going to be at the Royal Rumble or at WrestleMania 35. This would be huge for WWE's future, as many fans are behind McIntyre due to his resurgence in wrestling through his work on the independent circuit as well as NXT. WWE showed a big indication that McIntyre is their future this past week on Monday Night Raw after he defeated Kurt Angle in the main event using his own finisher, the ankle lock, against him. This moment could be looked back on a couple of years as the moment where McIntyre's push to become the face of WWE began. I love it, man. I think it's great. I am totally 100% on board with Drew McIntyre being the number one guy on Monday Night Raw. He's got the look. He's got the attitude. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic. The guy literally has everything you want as far as a picture-perfect pro wrestler goes. A lot of people look at Randy Orton and they say, when the question is raised, if you could build the perfect pro wrestler, who would it be? A lot of people look at Randy Orton, from attitude to in-ring skill to body type, right? I'm looking at Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is the perfect pro wrestler prototype. Now, the only thing I don't know, and I'm sure he could play both, but right now I'm more on one side of the fence than the other. McIntyre is a heel for me at this point, through and through. His attitude, the way he carries himself, his look, everything, his theme music, it's heel. Everything about Drew McIntyre is heel. So WWE needs a big baby face to go up against Drew McIntyre. And I don't want it to be Seth Rollins, because we've seen it so many fucking times already. And this is not their fault. This has to do with the depleted roster on Monday Night Raw. So McIntyre, to me, he could probably do both, but I'm on the heel side of the fence more so than I am on the babyface side of the fence. So that is where I am with Drew McIntyre. Can you imagine the visual of Drew McIntyre delivering the Claymore kick, which is fucking just picture perfect, man? It's like a fucking painting that you see in the Natural History Modern Museum of Arts or some shit like that. Drew McIntyre's Claymore delivered to Brock Lesnar, beating him for the Universal Championship. Man, I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, the rumor is that McIntyre, Rollins, and Strowman are all going to factor in to plans going into WrestleMania for the Universal Championship, which I don't completely agree with, nor do I believe right now, because Rollins is going to be tied up with Ambrose until WrestleMania, no question. This is only the beginning. We haven't even reached the tip of the iceberg with Rollins and Ambrose yet. So that's probably going to be the WrestleMania match, because that was supposed to be the WrestleMania match this year, and Ambrose got hurt. So they'll probably move on to WrestleMania 35 and do what they should have did last year, or wanted to do last year, this year for WrestleMania. So if it is a Universal Championship title picture, McIntyre, Strowman, and Lesnar is probably what you're looking at. Rollins to come down the line after he's done with Ambrose, but I don't think he's ever going to be done with Ambrose, because I'm picturing a Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa-like situation with those two guys, but on a much lesser scale, because, Raw sucks, and they don't really tell a great story like NXT does. But I'm looking at McIntyre, man. I don't know if it's going to be at WrestleMania or if it's going to be before that, but knowing Vince McMahon, he probably wants Brock Lesnar to hold the championship going into WrestleMania, because around March, the beginning of March, is when Lesnar is rumored to be fighting Daniel Cormier in UFC. So they probably want that big cross promotion going on there. And I think WWE is pretty confident that Lesnar is going to pass his USADA requirements. And the visual of the Universal Championship on pay-per-view, knowing that Brock Lesnar is a pay-per-view buy machine for the UFC, WWE is probably going to keep the title on him going into WrestleMania. And I would be absolutely okay with a Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar main event for WrestleMania, man. I think a lot of people would be. A, it's fresh. B, Drew McIntyre, you know, a lot of people don't think so, but I certainly think so. Legit enough in a pro wrestling ring to take on Brock Lesnar. And to deliver the Claymore kick and beat Brock Lesnar. If Roman Reigns can do it, Drew McIntyre can do it. I don't need any other examples for you. I love it. I think it's great. I'm all on board, and I think you guys will be on board, too. The guy is a fucking picture-perfect pro wrestler, has the makings of a world champion, and I would be okay with him being the #1 guy on Monday Night Raw. I don't know what they're going to do with Ziggler. Ziggler might end up getting the short end of the stick, which we all kind of assumed anyway. But we'll see what happens, man. Drew McIntyre, major plans that are probably, I'm pretty confident they're going to result in a Universal Championship title run in the next 6 months. So that is your news on Drew McIntyre, man. This is Off the Script, episode 247, part number 2 for your Saturday. What is it, November 10th? Yeah, I think so. Is it November 10th? I don't even know, man. Yeah, it is November 10th. November 10th, 2018. I'll hit the introduction, and I'll be right back right here on part 2 of Off the Script. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth. And I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not. WWE is great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Kenny Omega, Okada. Sonny! What is it, man? Can I suck your dick? What is it, man? Well, this is the #1 fucking podcast. Right here on YouTube.com. This is Off the Script. Man, if you guys have been a follower of the podcast for as long as I've been on this platform, you guys know back in the day I used to start off doing Call of Duty stuff with WWE kind of tie-ins to it. I was doing WWE Talk over gameplay, and then one night I met Justin LaBar for the first time, and we had several drinks, and we went to a few different bars in the West Village of Manhattan. This was during a SummerSlam weekend, and he gave me a lot of tips on what to do as far as doing, like, video. Like, if I'm doing stuff on YouTube, he told me, and I'll never forget what he told me. He's like, if I'm watching a video on YouTube, I just don't want to hear somebody. I want to physically see somebody. I'm going to YouTube to watch that individual, and I would rather be entertained by the person I'm watching. If I'm listening to something, I could just, put on a podcast or a radio station and whatnot, etc., and just listen to somebody's voice. But if I'm on YouTube, and if you're doing YouTube, you need to have a presence on YouTube. And I never look back. Man. I remember back in the day when I was doing the Call of Duty stuff, I would talk about WWE news, and I would actually review Monday Night Raw. It's there in the fucking annals of the channel. Doing video game gameplay with Modern Warfare 3 in the background, talk about my review of Monday Night Raw and this fucking scared, very timid voice. Not like I am today. I don't really give a shit about anything nowadays. I'll fucking say what I need to say, and if you don't like it, you can fucking blow me. But I look at him as... I'm sorry, man. I'm in a bad mood today. But when aren't I? So I look at Justin. I look at Justin as a big influence, man. And when Justin was doing Chair Shot Reality, he had a group of individuals with him, some of which I will not name here because they're fucking cowards, and too PG. But and he was my least favorite anyway. Ghoulish and LaBar were always my favorites. They had the personality there, and I love Juicy Steen. Juicy's a good bro. I looked at Justin, and I looked at Brian, and I'm like, man, I wish I could sit there next to these guys, And I remember working the fucking retail store, man, selling the jewelry, going on lunch, and I'd be like, fuck. That day sucks, man. What am I going to do to keep myself entertained for a fucking half an hour that I got lunch? Half an hour always ended up turning into 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, because I didn't want to get back on the sales floor. Oh, JD, you're going to make sales. Fuck you. I'd rather sit here and watch Chair Shot reality, man. So I watch them every Wednesday religiously on WrestleZone. And then WrestleZone, was bought out by a different company, and then Chair Shot didn't want to remain with WrestleZone, so they got up and left, and they went to Wrestling Inc. They had their own YouTube channel first, and then they went to Wrestling Inc. And I've been following them ever since, man, and it's been a long ride. You know, I take a lot from Chair Shot, and I take a lot of what they did, and I applied it here early on, man. They were a big influence to what I did here, and I'm sad to see that Chair Shot is no longer going to be on the interweb, man. They are canceling the entire show. They were on Wrestling Inc., and they are no longer on Wrestling Inc. as of December 2018, and that's not a decision by Wrestling Inc., that's a decision by Justin LaBar. He's pulling the show. Now, I don't know why. It's none of my business to know why, but I'm going to assume maybe one of two things here. One, maybe the guys didn't have time for it. Maybe they outgrew it. I don't know. I don't really know what the story is there. Or two, Justin really wants to concentrate on wrestling reality and his own podcast and build his own brand. I don't know. Which I would not blame him whatsoever for doing that. I mean, Justin is a very successful wrestling analyst and a very successful podcaster. So I would not blame him whatsoever, man. The sky's the ceiling for him with his mindset and his professionalism. He's got a lot to do. A lot yet left to do in the industry, so I'm sure he's going to be very successful in his own right. So whatever the case may be, man, I want to send Justin and Brian. Brian Gulish was not a part of the show as of late, but he was a very integral part of that show. And, he's supported what I've done here for a little while, and I consider him in a community of backstabbers and cutthroats and fucking weirdos and people who just want to see you fail. Brian is truly one of the good guys, as is Justin. And I've met a lot of people through them. Just being friends with Justin, I've met, Juicy Steen, his intern. Juicy is a character, and he's a good fucking dude. Hung out with him a few times. I've had the chance to become friends with Brian Gulish, who, opened his home up to me. Opened his home and his grill to me, and he treated me, to some damn good food and some beer and Extreme Rules, and, I got in with him, and he's not only a supporter of the show, but I consider him a very, very good friend, and I appreciate all that he's done for me, and I appreciate him constantly giving me support and advice and just checking in on me, and I hope he's doing well. Brian, if you listen, I hope you're getting well with the surgery, bro, and good luck with the newborn on the way soon. Hopefully all goes well with that. And hopefully either I can make it out there again soon or you can make it out here and we can have a good time. But I know you're going to be busy. Speaking of Brian, man, I'm going to link you his YouTube channel. He's got a YouTube channel down in the comment section. He's got a YouTube channel. I'm going to link you in the comment section down below. It's something that he's put together just to kind of get him through the recovery process of his surgery. And if you guys want a great wrestling mind with no filter behind it, you're not going to have any pretty graphics. It's just him directly talking to you about what he feels. Ex-Chair Shot guy, big wrestling guy, talking about WWE. How it should be, what they're not doing, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. I'm going to link you his YouTube channel down below. So, if you guys want to go check that out, you can check him out. Subscribe. But if you can make it out here or I make it out there again, man, I can't wait to hang again and have a few cold ones. But, I was lucky enough to meet Brian and through Justin as well with Chair Shot Reality. I met Matt from Wrestle Rumble, man. They are a huge sponsor of the show. Matt and Brian collectively set up the Shane Douglas interview, which you guys absolutely loved. Great stuff there. Matt is a big supporter of the show. I'm loving what Matt's doing with Wrestle Rumble, man. Every month, Wrestle Rumble, man, getting bigger and bigger. So congrats to him on that. I've had the opportunity to meet Matt in person several times. We went to All In together. Justin speaks for itself. A lot of my influence comes from Justin. We may not see eye to eye and we may get into a back and forth on Twitter here and there, but Justin is very good people. He's someone I look up to professionally and someone that I would eventually like to model myself after, man. So, you know, even though we may not agree on things here and there, it's always a great time when we get together. It's definitely a differing of opinion, but that always makes for good content, man. I wish we could do something together on YouTube, but I understand why he wouldn't, because I'm very controversial at times, and it might not appeal to what he's trying to do and where he wants to go, so I understand that completely. But, you know, Justin, you know, it speaks for itself, and, you know, through Justin, I met Ticket Drew. Ticket Drew is fucking awesome. You know, he's been very supportive of what I do, reaches out when big things happen like 100K, and, you know, I spent SummerSlam with him, and we shared a few drinks, and, you know, just good people, man. Just good people. Very, very good people. And these are the types of people that I hope, if you guys are doing this, have the opportunity to come across. So, you know, I'm very thankful for what Justin built with Chair Shot, because I got in just a little bit to meet some great people through that platform, and, you know, I'm going to miss them, man. So I wish everybody involved, you know, the best of luck. And I wish Justin luck, and I wish Brian luck, and, you know, it's going to be great. You know, who knows what the future might hold, and I'm sure with Justin it's going to be very, very bright. So, congrats, guys, and I'm going to miss you guys on the show. It is what it is, man. Things never really last. Everything always comes to an end. So, it's not the end for Justin. I'm sure he'll be fine. But thank you guys so very much. And thank you guys very much, man, for supporting the show. This is episode 247, part number 2, Off the Script. If you do enjoy what you see here, man, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up down below. We are nearing 101,000 subscribers, man. It was just last week that I hit 100,000, and we are already at 101, man. So thank you guys so very much. Yesterday, we talked about Jeffrey Dustin and the GoFundMe page that his parents set up, man. Jeffrey and his wife lost two beautiful cats, lost their home in a fire. And it's just a heartbreaking story, man. They set up a GoFundMe page, and I'm going out of my way here to let you guys know to please try and help these fine people, man. This is something that I really want you guys to take a part in, man. GoFundMe they have set up is linked down in the comment section, pinned at the very top. Along with Brian Ghoulish and his YouTube channel. Please support any way that you can, man. Please. Give these, give the GoFundMe a look. You know, look at the heartbreaking photos. Read their story, set up by their parents. And if you guys can get them to their goal of 2,500, man, you know, let's demolish that. I haven't looked yet because I'm recording this on Friday, so I really don't know the stats and the analytics of it yet until the weekend is over here on the podcast. But go read their story, go look at the photos, and if you find it in your heart to muster up anything you can to give back to Justin and his wife, man, I would really appreciate it. I want to show everybody the power of Off the Script and that we do good here, man, every single week. So Jeffrey is not only going through some hardships right now, you know, believe it or not, he is gracious enough to be a part of my Patreon family, which is fucking unbelievable, even though he's going through these hardships, man. So, you know, he gives to me and I'm giving right back, man, with absolutely no second thought at all. Just go and read what his parents wrote there, man. You're going to find it in your heart, I know, to give. So thank you guys so much for checking that out and continue to support Jeffrey and his wife and his family all through this weekend's episode 247 right here on Off the Script. Please follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. I am on Twitter. Twitter is not only a great way to find out what I'm thinking live as these shows happen, but it's also a great way to keep up to date on everything that I do here, man. But whether it's I live stream on Twitch or on YouTube, or whether a new video goes live on YouTube, Twitter always lets you know immediately, man. So please follow me on Twitter. Let's try and get myself verified on there, man. I would love to be verified. There are people in this community that don't do half of what I do that are verified. I would love to be a verified Twitter account. So hopefully that happens eventually. At JD from NY206, we are the real deal on Twitter. So please follow me on there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel below and hit that bell, man. Give that bell the middle finger. Turn on the notifications and subscribe and become part of the growing legion of supporters here on Off the Script. And then Patreon. If you guys want to support through the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206. No new patrons this week, man, so no shout-outs. So if you guys want to join the Patreon family, please do so. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Harry's Harry's is not only offering you guys a free trial, they are the official sponsor of Off the Script. Not only are they giving you guys a free trial if you use our URL, harrys.com/script, but if you use our link, you are able and eligible to get $5 off the new holiday set for 2018. You guys are going to get $5 off the holiday set, or you guys can get a free trial save set by using our link, harrys.com/script. You guys have the choice of 3 different colors, which you can choose from. You also have the option to engrave on the holiday set. With the free trial and the holiday set, you guys are going to get a razor blade, a razor handle, whichever color you choose, a protective travel case for your blade, and the 2-ounce bottle of the foaming shave gel, which soothes, hydrates, and it smells fantastic, man. Believe me, I got to shave immediately after this podcast, and Harry's is going to do the job absolutely 100%, man. That shave gel feels fantastic, and it's a nice tingling sensation on your skin, man. Believe me, I've been using Harry's for the majority of the year. I first found out about them this year through my parents. Haven't looked back, man. No matter what you guys are using right now as far as shaving needs, Harry's is going to be your number one. Believe me. They know it. That's why they're giving you a free trial shave set when you use our link, harrys.com/script. Not only that, man, but if you guys want to shop and you don't need any shaving equipment, if you already have Harry's and you guys want to sign up, you guys can actually give the gift of Harry's. Christmas is coming up, man. This makes a great stocking stuffer. Like I said, that they got the $5 holiday, or the $5 off the holiday set. It's going to be good to go, man. And ladies, you are not out of the equation here. Ladies can use this as well. So, harrys.com/script for your free trial shave set. Do it and support the podcast, man. You're getting a great product in return with Harry's. harrys.com/script. barbershopwindow.com/off-the-script. You guys know the deal here. 18 designs in total. The new one up front and center. The 100,000 subscriber commemorative t-shirt. Available exclusively only on Barbershop Window. You guys can save 20% off using code BSHOP20 right now. Get your new t-shirts, man. Here's the blown up look right there. The Puppet Master in full effect. I love it, man. It's got a take on Master of Puppets with Iron Maiden and their mascot, Eddie. Some great shit there, man. That is barbershopwindow.com/off-the-script for your off-the-script merchandise. 18 designs in total, and believe me, man, we got the best merch in the podcast game, period. There you go, man. Let's hit the news. Thank you guys so much for following me here on Off the Script today. Going to start off with this story, which is very depressing if it does indeed happen. Becky Lynch likely to lose the Smackdown Women's title at tables, ladders, and chairs. I know. Why is probably the first thing that you're thinking. Why? I don't know why. Why would you go and give Charlotte the title again when literally no one wants to see Charlotte as the women's champion again? Becky Lynch to lose the SmackDown Women's title at TLC. Becky Lynch is currently the SmackDown Women's champion, and she even emerged from Evolution as champion, where a lot of people thought she would lose the title to Charlotte. This set up the dream match of Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch at Survivor Series. Therefore, it's unlikely she'll be losing the title before then. Now, one of the reasons why WWE went with Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch is because they didn't want to give Charlotte and Ronda Rousey away at the Survivor Series. That is probably going to be set up for a WrestleMania. There is a very strong belief that Becky Lynch's title reign will only be a transitional championship run before WWE looks towards the end game of what they really want to present at WrestleMania. Now, I don't know why WWE would want to take the title off of Becky Lynch. She is the hottest entity in all of WWE right now. And what have I stated? What have I stated every single time someone like this is exceeding everyone's expectations and literally becoming the best part of the programming on a week-to-week basis? Tommaso Ciampa did it. Would you even look at Tommaso Ciampa and take the fucking title off him? Absolutely not. Tommaso Ciampa, even though Black is the hottest babyface right now in NXT, you got Adam Cole in Undisputed Era, you got Johnny Gargano, teetering on good and bad, becoming the villain. He's been the hero so long, and now he's seen himself be the hero long enough that he's going to become the villain. Dark Knight reference, right? That's what Johnny Gargano is going through right now. He's becoming Two-Face. He's becoming Harvey Dent, is Johnny Gargano. Or if you want to look at the Spider-Man universe, he's becoming Venom. He's becoming Peter Parker with the Venom symbiote running through his blood, right? So, I don't understand why you would even think about taking the title of Tommaso Ciampa. You're not. He's still the very best thing in NXT. Same thing with Becky Lynch. Why would you take the title of Becky Lynch when she is the one woman who deserves it more so than anyone right now in that entire division? She's the best thing on SmackDown Live. AJ Styles, it's hit or miss with AJ Styles. Some people think he's still the very best thing that they have on SmackDown Live, but I would sit here and argue with you that Samoa Joe should be the WWE champion. That's just my honest opinion on that. But that is a back and forth that I don't really want to dive into right now because Samoa Joe, I think we need to put it out to pasture. Just kill it that Samoa Joe is never going to win the WWE championship. And therefore, AJ Styles is still the WWE champion and probably will be the WWE champion going on into 2019. But Becky Lynch is surprising. Why would you take the title of Becky Lynch? Well, Brian Alvarez said on the Wrestling Observer Live, and I quote, "I've said this for weeks. I would bet money on Becky Lynch losing the title at TLC." I don't know where he's getting his information from, but Jesus Christ, I love Brian Alvarez. I think he's great, but I hope that he is completely wrong in that assumption there. This was also noted as a reason why Lynch is also likely to be defeated by Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series. After all, Ronda Rousey, to be defeated, by Ronda Rousey is not really that bad of a thing if you think about it, because Ronda is at the top of her game. But to be defeated by Ronda Rousey and then turn around and lose the title the next month would kill everything that Becky Lynch has done right now with that women's championship. Therefore, it looks like WWE could be preparing for their next phase with the roster as they position themselves going into WrestleMania next year. Only time will tell how Becky Lynch could be used on that show, but you might want to enjoy Lynch's title reign while you can if you're one of the fans that's been pulling for her to be in the position that she's currently in right now. This is very depressing. I don't really understand WWE's logic here. Who would they drop the title? They didn't mention Charlotte. This report did not mention Charlotte, but who else is it going to be? Who else is it going to be? Peyton Royce? Billie Kay? Asuka? Yeah, get the fuck out of here, man. Naomi, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Lana. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Charlotte. The report didn't mention Charlotte here. They only mentioned Charlotte and Ronda Rousey probably being at WrestleMania. But if they drop the title to Charlotte, what sense does that make? What sense does that make? Unless, there's only two things to go. There's only two ways for WWE to go here, two routes. If Charlotte beats Becky, which that match at Evolution, that is a match that ends a feud. You ain't going to build off that. I'm done after that match. So I'm hoping that WWE doesn't go back and give us Charlotte versus Becky. But if they do, and Charlotte takes the title after this bullshit that we're seeing on SmackDown Live, oh, I don't think I'm the right woman for... I'm sorry. I don't think I'm the right woman for the job, Paige. That's what she said. I don't think I'm the right woman for the job. So what does that mean? That means that Becky Lynch did so much damage to Charlotte's character because she was so over, and everybody started to boo Charlotte, that WWE needs to start thinking of sympathetic ways to build Charlotte back up, to be good in the eyes of the people, right? Oh, I gotta be down on myself. I don't think I'm the right woman for the job. I'm the superior athlete in the division, right? Now all of a sudden she's not good enough. Why? Because Becky is much better than you, bar none, period? Come on, bro, you got nothing to be ashamed about. So WWE looks like they're trying to build sympathy through Charlotte by having her be down on herself. But if Charlotte does win the championship and this results in a Charlotte win over Becky, what happens then? So we got Charlotte as the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Ronda as the Raw Women's Champion. Does Charlotte hold that title to WrestleMania? Does WWE make a big match even bigger? Champion versus champion in the main event of WrestleMania? Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. Charlotte as SmackDown champion. Ronda as Raw Women's Champion. Could be. Could be. But what about this? What about this? If that does happen, what about Becky winning the Royal Rumble? And Becky saying, fuck this shit. Charlotte and Ronda is everything that we don't need for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Two women that have been given everything, that worked for nothing based on who they are. They're given the position based on who they are. What if Becky wins the Royal Rumble and goes on to challenge both of those women at WrestleMania? I think that would be fantastic. I honestly think that would be fantastic. So you got Charlotte and Ronda, and just the way Becky is, fuck you both. I'm challenging both of you. I'm throwing down the gauntlet now, and if you are man enough, you say you're the man, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Let's make this a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the main event, the first time ever. Charlotte versus Ronda versus Becky in a triple threat match. I think that's great. You know, I would rather Becky win the Royal Rumble than Charlotte, honestly. Because if Becky is the champion going into 2019 and we get to the Royal Rumble and Charlotte doesn't have a championship, you know for damn sure that Charlotte is winning that Royal Rumble. And my God, does that fucking reek of predictability. Holy shit. So that, I would rather that not happen. And I would rather, if you know, it's the... I guess, the lesser of two evils to have Charlotte win the championship now, because then at least we'll get Becky winning the Royal Rumble, a scenario that I much rather see, you know? How would that be if Becky wins the Royal Rumble and lasts 30 women in the Royal Rumble, and she draws a low number, you know? I think that would be great for her stock. So we'll see what happens, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but, you know, it all goes back to what I previously stated. Becky is the best thing, not only in the division, but probably on SmackDown Live. Why would you punish the best thing going right now? If you are the best at what you're doing, let that run its course until someone else comes along. Charlotte doesn't need to be a 9-time women's champion. You can get Charlotte in the main event of WrestleMania anytime you want against Ronda Rousey. Doesn't have to be at the expense of Becky losing her championship. Come on, man. You gotta do the right thing. Keep it on Lynch. She is the best at what she's doing right now. You do not take away from the best in your division. Simple. Nikki Cross, speaking of Becky Lynch and SmackDown Live, Nikki Cross, did she officially make her main roster debut on SmackDown Live? Nikki Cross had a lot of people mark out on SmackDown Live when she accepted Becky Lynch's open challenge. She wanted an opponent, and NXT's quote-unquote twisted sister answered the call. But is she still property of NXT? Or is she property of SmackDown Live right now? There are conflicting reports on her actual status. During the commentary for their match, they seem to be introducing Cross to the WWE Universe by explaining her motivations, alliance with Sanity, and some of her backstory. This is usually done for superstars that they expect to have around. WWE's official website does not list Nikki Cross as a SmackDown superstar just yet. However, the video on their website certainly said that Nikki Cross made her SmackDown Live debut. The description reads, "Can the unhinged Nikki Cross defeat the SmackDown Women's Champion in her Team Blue debut?" End quote. Now, I know I made a little bit of a stink on social media and on SmackDown Live review this week, you know, but I do want to throw one positive thing out there. Remember when Charlotte was still coming up from NXT and they put her on Monday Night Raw and she had that match with Natalya several years ago on Monday Night Raw and she lost in the sharpshooter to Natalya on Monday Night Raw? Everybody's like, oh, this is a terrible debut for Charlotte. How the fuck can they be doing this to Charlotte Flair? Right? Charlotte's buried on Monday Night Raw. Look at Charlotte now, 9-time women's champion. I'm not saying that Nikki Cross is going to end up being a fucking 9-time women's champion. Maybe in NXT, maybe in WWE 2K19, but not in real life. It doesn't really mean that she's going to be buried on SmackDown Live, and WWE could very well push her because she is very over and someone who I could see being very over. But history does not bode well for Nikki Cross. If history is any explanation of things to come, look at Asuka. Look at anybody called up from NXT. I mean, it could be anybody. Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Andrade Cien Almas currently. Wasted. All wasted. Bo Dallas, The Ascension, The Revival, Bobby Roode, American Alpha, Chad Gable, right? Does history bode well for Nikki Cross? No. That's why I say what I say. WWE doesn't appreciate NXT. They don't. Half of the fucking people working for Vince McMahon don't even know how to spell NXT. They don't know. They don't care. So, the reason I made it stink is because Nikki Cross is being portrayed terribly already. She's not even done with her obligations in NXT, number one. Bianca Belair is not over with. There's no resolution there. They still need to find a true winner there. The last match that they had, Aleister Black interfered and stopped the whole match. Then she's got an issue with Candice LeRae, based on the allegations with Gargano and Aleister Black. So why are you going to pluck her from NXT when she has unfinished business in NXT? On top of that, you threw her in a match with Becky Lynch. Great. Great. Her first match on SmackDown Live on the main roster in front of the main roster audience, which really doesn't count because you're overseas, and all those fans are hardcore fucking fans, and they know who Nikki Cross is. She came out in fucking, Des Moines, Iowa, or fucking Bumblefuck, Oklahoma. People would be looking, who the fuck is this? Completely different crowds. So I'm hoping that WWE debuted her there, and that was it, because she's from there. But she's in the ring against Becky Lynch in her first match on SmackDown Live. Yeah, you could look at it head on and think, well, that's a good thing. At least she ain't debuting against fucking Billie Kay or Lana. But she lost. And she tapped out immediately. She tapped out to Becky Lynch. Mind you, Nikki Cross was put in a Kirifuda clutch by Shayna Baszler and didn't tap out. She smiled as she went to sleep. You didn't see none of this. You didn't see, I'm done. No, but on SmackDown Live, you're having her tap out to Becky Lynch. Oh, but JD, she's the champion. Fuck that. You're not going to debut someone who's white hot in NXT and then have them tap out in seconds to whomever on SmackDown Live. Meanwhile, a real MMA fighter in Shayna Baszler tapped her out, but put her to sleep. We didn't see none of this. We didn't see Nikki Cross struggling for the ropes. No, she smiled as she went to sleep like a fucking lunatic she is. That's the way you maintain character. Seems like that was forgotten on SmackDown Live. So, based on history and based on how she was booked already, with main Roger fucking just bullshit, why am I going to be excited about Nikki Cross? Then you're pairing her with Sanity. Sanity has her ushered out. Where has Sanity been? In catering. That's where Nikki Cross is going to be. Good luck on SmackDown Live if this is the real deal. I don't know who. If you are excited about this, you are absolutely fucking lying to yourself. Who the fuck are you? Really? Do you even have a fucking functioning brain? Come on, man. Fuck out of here. Going back to this Becky Lynch story, by the way, at TLC. If there is a champion versus champion match at WrestleMania between Charlotte and Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch is not involved, I would make this a unification title match and merge both divisions. Fuck these two divisions, man. These divisions are fucking horrendous. How you can call that Raw Women's division a division is fucking laughable. How you can call the SmackDown division is fucking laughable. We've been seeing nothing but Becky Lynch and Charlotte for the last 3 months. Nobody else is being featured. And the only reason why the women were featured is because we're heading towards Survivor Series, and they are forced to feature the women. Come on. Get with the program, man. Get with the program. Speaking of the women, man, Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega did not show up with Andrade Cien Almas on SmackDown Live in his great match against Rey Mysterio. Zelina Vega was placed with Almas in NXT. She has been an integral part of that character moving forward. He came out without Vega, and he felt 50% of what he should be. That's how important Vega is. Although Almas hasn't been given that much of a push as of late, which I don't understand why, he has excelled in the ring and put on some amazing matches against Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and now Rey Mysterio. But after Vega suffered a injury at Evolution, and I believe it was a concussion, it threw a monkey wrench into their plans when she was pulled from the road. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Vega is believed to have suffered a concussion following the spot where Nia Jax launched her into Tamina Snuka at Evolution. This was a dangerous spot, but pro wrestling isn't ballet. There's that fucking term again. It ain't ballet. It ain't ballet. Maybe you shouldn't be throwing a soaking wet 100-pound, 5-foot woman over the fucking top rope. You fucking idiot. Yeah, it may look good because she's like a fucking feather, but I don't think a spot like that is necessary. Seriously. Vega is still pulled from touring at this point, but there is good news for Andrade Cien Almas' manager. She is back to training, at least, which is a good sign. Hopefully, she'll receive medical clearance soon because her character is really needed to help round out the entire Almas package. Man, is that a fucking understatement. So, good luck to Zelina Vega getting back with Almas sooner rather than later. She is a very, very integral part of that character moving forward. Hulk Hogan! Oh my God, man. When will Hulk Hogan shut the fuck up? Hulk Hogan fired shots at the current size of the WWE performers. Man, this guy is just digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper for himself. WWE sent social media into a frenzy when they reinstated Hulk Hogan earlier this summer, and then reinstated his Hall of Fame induction at the same time. The company stated that Hogan's volunteering work with children and his remorse for his past actions led to the 3-year suspension coming to an end. Of course, it's well known that his racist comments were leaked and led to the WWE cutting all ties with him. After the announcement, Hogan issued an apology to the entire locker room backstage at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view in July, which didn't go down too well with all of the superstars. The likes of Titus O'Neil and The New Day were particularly vocal about the nature of the apology, claiming that it did not seem sincere. Nevertheless, the WWE Universe saw Hogan back on screen at Crown Jewel, or in this case, Crown Fool, in Saudi Arabia on Friday, where he received a huge response from the Middle Eastern fans. At 65 years old, the 12-time world champion's days of being the Hulkster are well and truly gone, and you can't see him ever stepping into a WWE ring again in a wrestling capacity. But he may have drawn the line when he sent out a tweet with several wrestlers just becoming very agitated with him, in which he seemed to take shots at the entire roster. He says, and I quote, "Okay, today is a new day. After seeing myself on Crown Jewel, I have decided to get serious and get under 300 pounds. I looked huge, swole, jacked, and my arms are still bigger than most wrestlers' legs. I don't want to look like I can beat up the entire WWE roster anymore. Only love. HH." So, we don't know if he was joking or not, because words can really be misconstrued on social media. There's no emotion coming from the fucking fingers typing on the keyboard. You know, he didn't use an emoji. He didn't use a sarcastic emoji. He didn't use a laughing emoji, you know, the crying face. No, he didn't do none of that. He just sent out this tweet, and everybody took him to be serious. So, we don't know. But it's not smart to mock people that you're trying to get in good graces with, Hogan. Interestingly enough, SmackDown's Rusev called him out for it and actually made it a joke. Rusev called Hogan out for a match at WrestleMania 35, and based off the Hulkster's old gimmick of beating the foreign baddies, it could be something that could be interesting. So Rusev tweeted out, "I think you should start with me. WrestleMania 35 falls on #Rusev Day." Hogan then tweeted out to Rusev, "You are no different than all the other giants that have tried, but at least after I defeat you, I will have a new manager, brother. Crushamania." I'll pass, please. So that's where we are with that. The likes of Tyler Breeze actually took offense to that as well. And, you know, Hogan's an idiot. Shut your mouth. Seriously. You should not be tweeting out anything that could be misconstrued as, is this guy serious or is he joking? You gotta walk a fine line, Hogan. You ain't walking it. So, I don't know who the fuck he's talking to, or I don't know what friends he's making after the apology that he issued to the WWE locker room, but it doesn't look like it's really going all that smoothly for the Hulkster. Shut the fuck up. You got to walk a tight, thin line. Shut your mouth and stay off social media. It's the best advice I could give you. Moving on here, man. Speaking of SmackDown Live, Shane McMahon's long-term plans could see The Miz turn babyface. Why? Why would you want to see The Miz, who is a cocky prick, as a babyface? Some people are just born to play the villain. The Miz is one of those guys. Seriously. I don't know. I don't know what they got planned, but there's long-term plans for Shane McMahon, but there's no long-term plans for anybody else on SmackDown Live. What a fucking world we live in, huh? Shane McMahon won the World Cup. I don't believe I have to continue mentioning this. At Crown Jewel. After inserting himself into the final match when The Miz was injured, which is all storyline, by the way. He is not legitimately hurt. This came after he threatened to fire a SmackDown superstar if they weren't able to win the tournament for SmackDown Live because he can't stand to hear Stephanie brag about it. Bryan Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Live that he was basically told the plans for Shane McMahon are indeed long-term. And we may have seen that on SmackDown Live where Shane McMahon mentioned the World Cup and held the trophy up and the introduction. Yeah, everybody on SmackDown Live is a fucking douchebag. The introduction of Paige introducing Shane McMahon to SmackDown Live in Manchester, he was received with a chorus of boos. So we could really be seeing the beginning stages of a heel turn for Shane McMahon. Bryan Alvarez says it is long-term, so it's highly likely that we will be hearing him talk about how he's the best in the world soon enough. And that's a reason why I guess he's on the Survivor Series team. To the best of my knowledge, says Alvarez, this is long-term. I was basically told that, but I mean, plans change all the time, but I think it's long-term. Not to mention they have two babyfaces running the show on SmackDown Live. This is very unlike them. They love heel GMs, so I think SmackDown isn't doing all that great, and you know they'll turn it around with a heel McMahon running the show. So I think this is going to be a long-term thing. I think he's going to come out bragging about how he's the best in the world. Paige can be the babyface. He can be the heel. He will come out and Paige will have their back and forth and etc., etc. Oh my God, man. The same old tired shit over and over and over again. Why do we need the commissioner and GM dynamic taking over the entire show? Can't you let the wrestlers do what they need to do and build the show around the performers? At this point, it looks like The Miz is turning babyface while Shane is going to the dark side. It was none of that. The Miz as a babyface would make sense theoretically and could plausibly see a WrestleMania match against a heel Shane McMahon at Mania. So where does that leave Daniel Bryan? I don't know. The only thing I could think of there, if The Miz is not fighting Daniel Bryan, which a lot of people probably don't even think that's a WrestleMania match anyway, I think a lot of people are over it, but I would like to see Daniel Bryan capture the WWE title. If The Miz is going one-on-one, and that's The Miz and Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, if that's Shane McMahon's big match at WrestleMania, what do you do with Daniel Bryan? Do we get a Shawn Michaels versus Daniel Bryan match at WrestleMania? That's going to be very interesting. And then who do you go up and put AJ Styles with? I don't know. Maybe we get AJ Styles versus Andrade Cien Almas for the WWE Championship, or maybe we get a AJ Styles versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. I don't know. You got a few different options with AJ. AJ's not the issue. You could put anybody with AJ and have it be a 5-star fucking match. But what do you do with Bryan? What do you do with Daniel Bryan? Maybe you put Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE title. I don't know. So they got a few different options that they could go with. Any one of them sounds good. But The Miz being babyface, I'm not for that, man. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. You know, we really haven't seen that. We really haven't seen that at all from them. The Miz has been a heel his entire career. And I don't think I'm ready to see that now. WWE fucked this all up. WWE booked this thing literally 2 weeks ago. And if they gave the fucking Money in the Bank briefcase to The Miz like they should have, instead of fucking Strowman, I think everything would have been a lot better off in the end. That's just my take. They wasted everything from Money in the Bank in June all the way to now. Wasted. This entire year was a complete fucking whitewash. That's the way I feel about it. I don't think Shane McMahon being a heel is interesting at all. I'm not going to find any interest in that whatsoever. The Miz being a babyface? I'm not for that. I'm not for that at all. That's ridiculous. So stupid, man. The Miz and AJ Styles is your direct next feud. Simple. You include Bryan, you include Joe, you hang them around the main event. That's what you got to do. Shane McMahon? Watch Shane McMahon win the Survivor Series for SmackDown Live. And then we got to hear him brag how he's the best in the world. I could see them going with it. It makes perfect sense. That's the only reason why he's on the fucking team. Fucking ridiculous, man. I don't know. Things could have been done so much better, but we are in the boat that we are in, and I'm hoping for the best, which I know will probably sink down to the fucking bottom of the Atlantic Ocean here. Moving on here, man. How long am I in here? 44 minutes. Couple more stories and we get the fuck out of here, man. CM Punk. CM Punk. You guys were expecting me to do the imitation. I'm not going to do it today. I don't speak of irrelevance on this podcast. No longer. CM Punk. What's going on with CM Punk? Is he coming back to the WWE? Nah. Not right now, anyway. But he is in a role that, A, I'm happy for him. B, something that I think he will be fucking great at. CM Punk is to begin his career as an MMA broadcaster. CM Punk might never fight in the octagon again. However, it looks like he'll continue his career in the world of mixed martial arts with Cage Fury Fighting Championship, a commentator position for CM Punk. MMA Junkie reports that Punk has signed with the CFFC, who now air their events on UFC Fight Pass, to serve as a commentator. He will debut at CFFC 71 from the Borgata Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey on December 14th. Punk released this official statement on the opportunity. I can't wait for this opportunity to call the CFFC fights on UFC Fight Pass. CFFC has a long history of putting on exciting fights featuring some of the sport's up-and-coming athletes. This card is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to have the chance to be a part of it. Punk will share the commentary booth with longtime play-by-play broadcaster and New Jersey radio host Mike Gill. They will be joined by CFFC broadcast veteran Brian Palico. The CFFC president, Rob Haydack, had this to say about the former WWE champion joining the promotion. CM Punk's knowledge and passion for MMA is incredible, and his charisma and personality make him the perfect fit for this role. By pairing him with Mike Gill, a true sports broadcasting veteran who's been around the fight game his entire career in Atlantic City, we have a great combination of our first show on UFC Fight Pass. End quote. I might have to make my way out there to that show, man. Support my boy Punk. I think he's going to do great in that role. That is the fucking picture-perfect role for CM Punk right there, man. Remember CM Punk doing mock commentary on Monday Night Raw when he was a part of Raw? He looked and sounded great. He blew everybody fucking away. He was better than the actual guys who sit there every week. I could see CM Punk being a Corey Graves type guy on commentary, man. I am proud of him. This is the perfect role for him, and you knew he was eventually going to transition into doing something like that. I'm hoping, and I think in my heart of hearts, I don't think he's done with wrestling, but in the interim right now, this is the absolute perfect role for CM Punk, and I hope he fucking kills it. I hope he fucking kills it. Whether I'm there and make the trip to Atlantic City, or I watch this on replay somewhere and I get a glimpse of what he's doing, I hope he does it well, and I hope he kills it on commentary for MMA, man, and Cage Fury Fighting Championship. I think that's fucking awesome for Punk. Oh my goodness, man. I think I'll save this story. And maybe we'll talk about it now. We'll close it with this. I know some of you guys mentioned this to me in the chat on Twitch, and I know some of you guys mentioned it in the comment section of some of the videos this week. Tetsuya Naito, New Japan Pro Wrestling star, rejects a WWE offer. Man, it's tough to think why he would join the WWE, right? Man, they got some great things going on over there, don't they? Monday Night Raw thriving with fucking sub-level ratings. SmackDown Live can't tell a fucking logical story to save their life. Shane McMahon being a priority on the program. Man, Shane McMahon on SmackDown Live. Man, Tetsuya Naito would be great on SmackDown Live, man. Why didn't he make the jump? Tetsuya Naito rejects a WWE offer, doesn't even think twice about it. Guy who's made waves and headlines all over the pro wrestling world at this point. His matches against notable opponents have received huge praise, and it certainly seems like he's on WWE's radar. Naito is set to face Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom 13 in January, but it seems he had to turn down an important life offer. Chris Charlton reports that Naito received a WWE offer after Dominion, and he rejected it. Seems like New Japan Pro Wrestling was too hard to leave. Really. It's not that tough to figure that one out, seeing the landscape of WWE right now. But apparently WWE is well aware of what New Japan is doing, and if anyone was a betting man, Vince McMahon hasn't seen anything they've done there at this point. But it's certainly in his ear. The Wrestling Observer newsletter mentioned that WWE had actually reached out to 3 New Japan Pro Wrestling stars, if not more. We know about Naito, but the other ones are anyone's guess because New Japan has a lot of stars right now that WWE might have their eye on. Everybody from Jay White to Kazuchika Okada and even Tama Tonga. It will be very interesting to see what might happen down the line. Even though it didn't name any of those names specifically, WWE could always persuade someone to take the leap to follow Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, among others, to WWE. Any one of those guys that I named, they would be completely out of their element in WWE. Not because of their wrestling skill, but because the landscape of WWE right now, they don't want anyone for any particular reason. They don't want to take someone who is the best wrestler in the world, like Okada, or an up-and-comer like Jay White, right? They don't want these guys to fit into an angle. Oh, we want Okada for this one, and we have a huge program set out for him. I got this idea, let's bring in Okada. No, they want these guys because they don't want anyone else to have them. Vince McMahon treats the WWE like his own real-life Toys R Us. And he wants Kazuchika Okada on the shelf. And then when he realizes he don't speak very good English, we're like, this guy's a great wrestler, but he can't get over because he's Japanese. So let's put him on the shelf until he learns English. And even when he learns somewhat of the English language, he don't speak English too well. Let's bury him. Or I don't like Jay White's hairstyle. Or I don't like Naito. For whatever reason. Because he don't speak English. Common theme here. Why? Why do you want these wrestlers if you have no idea how to use them or no plans in place? A real-life Toys R Us is what Vince McMahon treats the WWE as. This is absolutely imperative for everyone in New Japan right now to stay in New Japan. I don't want anybody coming over from New Japan. I don't. They would absolutely take a career hit. Sometimes money is important to some people. Sometimes it's not. To these guys, clearly, their home is New Japan. And I'm sure they're doing very well for themselves over there. So I don't see why anybody would go to WWE at this stage of the game. Even with all the money they're making from the TV deals and Saudi Arabian shows, there's no point. You know, believe it or not, sometimes someone's morals are more important than the fucking money that they're making. How would you feel if you're the best at what you do and you're not treated as the best at what you do? Okada and Naito are two of the most acclaimed superstars in the wrestling industry. They know that. Why would you jeopardize that for money? Yeah, their talent should be making them the money that they deserve. But WWE doesn't look at it that way. They only want these guys so that they don't go anywhere else. Then they get old, and they get injured, and they can't compete anymore, and then nobody wants them anymore. Fuck that. If you are the best at what you do, money is not always the most important thing. You want to be the best at what you do. I wholeheartedly feel for anyone feeling that way. Sometimes people want money, and they don't give a shit if they're jeopardizing their morals and they're disrespecting a company. They just want the money. I've been at this for so long, I deserve a good payday. It's fine. Nothing wrong in thinking like that. But sometimes you got to look at the other side of the fence. These guys want to be the best, want to continue being the best, and they want to operate by competing with the best and not having their best talent waste away. Nothing wrong with that. If anything, Naito should get a pat on the back, and you should look at Naito with even more respect. Speaking of New Japan, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. WWE is blocking Jim Ross from announcing New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 13 on top of any other New Japan Pro Wrestling program. Jim Ross, Hall of Fame announcer, they aren't hurt on WWE at all, and he's still under contract. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck they got him doing, but he's still under contract. But he can be heard as part of New Japan's weekly Access TV show. Dave Meltzer discussed JR's contract with WWE on Wrestling Observer Radio, where he stated that due to WWE's decisions to not allow Ross to continue with New Japan Pro Wrestling, he likely won't be re-signing a new deal with the company. He says, and I quote, "Okay, so here's the situation with Jim Ross. His contract with Access TV expires on the 31st. WWE, who he also has a contract with, signed a 2-year deal with them in April of 2017, so it's coming up on March 31st next year. So as part of his deal, he already had the deal with Access for 2017, so WWE signed him already when he had a contract to continue doing that. They gave him the okay to continue doing his other shit as long as he signed the contract with the WWE. That was the foundation for the contract. So everyone figured, I figured when the contract is up at the end of 2017, Access needs to get a new announcer because Jim Ross isn't going to be available because he has his WWE contract. How he pulled this off, I'll never know, but he got Vince McMahon to agree to whatever. The point is, Vince McMahon agreed to let him continue in Access for another year, so he signed a 1-year contract. Vince McMahon gave his blessing, so that's what's been going on for the past year. Things obviously changed." End quote. So he went on to say that after his Access contract is up at the end of 2018, and they've started saying that he can't do New Japan shows right now. WWE won't allow Ross to sign a new deal. Therefore, Access needed a new announcer for their New Japan shows. So it looks like unless he resigns with the WWE, which right now isn't looking very likely, that Jim Ross will not be around WWE after April this year, but he will miss out on announcing Wrestle Kingdom 13. How fucked up is that? If that isn't petty, if that isn't being done out of spite, I would be shocked. That is fucking pathetic. You bring this guy back in April of 2017, when just a few months before that, his wife passed away. You give him a contract to come back to the WWE, to come home to his family, to take his mind off of the passing of his wife, right? And then you want to do him dirty like that? Well, we signed you to do whatever you wanted back in April, but now we're going to change things up and fuck you and the sympathy we had for your wife and the passing of your wife back in April. That's the way I see it. That's the way I fucking see it. What difference does it make if Jim Ross wants to go announce New Japan? Is Jim Ross hindering the failing fucking ratings on your show? Is Jim Ross the reason for your piss poor product? Get with your own fucking product. Make sure you need to do what is right for your show happens. Jim Ross announcing New Japan. What a big fucking deal. If I'm running this fucking company, I'm signing Jim Ross to do whatever the fuck he wants. As long as he's with me for a project when I need him. You're going to stop him from making his money? Now he has to stop? Someone who's been in this business for so long. You're going to take the joy away from him from attending and calling New Japan's biggest show of the year? That is fucking sad. This company is a fucking disgrace. I fucking hate that, man. That is so shitty. That is absolutely fucking shitty, man. They signed Jim Ross because they wanted him to come back home. Everybody felt for Jim Ross when his wife passed away. They got him to call the fucking Undertaker match that year. And now they're changing his contract conveniently right before Wrestle Kingdom hits in a couple of months. Sad. WWE should be fucking ashamed of themselves, man. This company, I say it every fucking week, this company shits on the sport of pro wrestling. Every single thing that they do, they shit on the sport of professional wrestling. Seriously. Unreal. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm getting the hell out of here, man. That is Off the Script. We went another hour and 20 minutes today. Thank you guys so much for joining me and spending your days with me, man. I really, really appreciate it. Please follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Give that bell the middle finger. Join me on Patreon, man. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Go get your t-shirts, man. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Code BSHOP20 for 20% off. The new 100,000 subscriber t-shirt is available right now. Make sure you guys jump on board and become part of the JD Army, man. 100,000 strong. Remember, Harry's, not only the holiday gift set, $5 off, but the free trial shave set. Harrys.com/script. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. 30 days of Audible service and 1 month free. That's 1 month free of their service and 1 free audiobook of your choice, man. Over 200,000 options to choose from. And if you guys don't like the service, within the 30 days you can cancel and still keep your audiobook for free, man. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. Several ways you guys can support the show. I'm getting out of here. I will see you guys on Sunday with part 3 to close out the weekend right here on Off the Script. Hit that thumbs up, man. Let's try for 2,000 thumbs up today on Saturdays, part 2 of Off the Script for episode 247. And I'll see you guys right back here on part 3 to close out the weekend, man. Enjoy your Saturdays, and I will see you all on Sunday afternoon to finish off the weekend. I'll talk to you guys later.